Hey guys, it's Bethany with the Wandering Purl podcast, and welcome to episode 35. I can't believe we're at 35 already, which is really crazy. But happy Christmas to everyone, and to whatever holiday you are celebrating. I hope you are having a great time with family and friends and just enjoying the season. Can't believe that this is the last podcast of 2023. It has flown by. Completely crazy. We started off the year in Colorado, then we spent most of it in Washington State, and here we are in Utah at the end. So it has been a very western side of the country year, but it's been a good year with its highs and lows, as every year is. I hope that you are joining us over at Vlogmas. If not, then come join us if you want to. I have been doing daily vlogs all through December, and I will continue up until the 25th, which is only a few days away. That's crazy to think about, but if you are watching Vlogmas, thank you so much for tuning in, and a lot of this is going to probably be things that you've already heard. I'm try to be quick about it and not linger on like I'm already doing in the opening, but I'm going to go through my projects. I don't have any, well, I guess I kind of have one finished project, but I'm just going to all do it in projects this time because it's Vlogmas Advent season, and it's just kind of strange this month. And then I have a lot of questions to answer, and then some chit chat at the end about life and what's coming up next year and all kinds of things. So you will see that we are still snowless here in Utah. It's December 20th and there is no snow. None. It is, I don't even know, it's 47 degrees outside. 47. It's December 20th. It's not supposed to be that warm here. It's unseasonably warm. And I want snow. It's possibly going to snow Saturday night. Crossing my fingers, crossing my toes, hoping that it happens for a white Christmas. That would be really nice. But, oh, the mic was all the way over there. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But yeah. It's been strange, but that's okay. We're just taking it as it is. So I think that's all I had to say for the opening. I'm just going to tell you, I did not do my notes like I normally do. This is literally all I wrote down. So this one could be kind of spastic, but let's just jump in and talk about these projects. So I just have Ravelry pulled up, and I'm going to talk about my projects from my Ravelry pages this time instead of all of my notes. So let's just jump right in. I think the last time that we podcasted was right after Vlogmas had started. So I had started my Advent projects, but I wasn't very far into them. Now I'm quite far into them. So we're going to chat about those. First, let's talk about the Star Wars sweater. Let's just go through that a little bit. So I'm housing my Star Wars sweater in my Cottontails farm bag, and I am using, let me bring it up. Oh, the internet's going to be so slow. Okay. This is a pattern first by Natalie Meredith, and I am using Cascade Yarns Heritage 6 in the colors Real Black and Silver Gray. I have not done a lot of work on this. So I will talk about it in life, but the last 2 weeks have been exceptionally stressful. So stressful. And I haven't had the headspace to work on anything. I have done some work on it. Actually, I've done quite a bit of work since you guys saw it, but it's not going to be done in 4 days when Christmas comes. It's just not going to be. So yeah, let's just go through it real fast and chat about it. Let me show you the yarn real fast. This is the gray that I'm using, and I really am liking this yarn a whole lot. There's the black with all the animal fur on it, but these are the two colors that I'm using. Really like this yarn, working with it so far. So what size? I'm making a size 56. I feel discombobulated. But I'm making a size 56, and I'm using a US 4 for this. Again, I think I said this last time, but this is going to have so much Dalmatian glitter on it. It's a black yarn, and I mean, I breathe. I go out and I will find hair everywhere. I just bring it with me. I just bring the fur with me. So it is what it is. I'm sorry. But I think the last time that I spoke to you, I was right here and I hadn't yet split for the front and the back. So I was right here where these are both, oh, this one's the wrong way, but these are both Simply Serving stitch markers. And this is what I have. This is the back side. I haven't worked on this in probably at least a week, but this is what I have so far. You can kind of start to see Vader right here, and we have like TIE fighters over here that are going to come up. But I'm working on it. It's getting there. I might be halfway through. Like, this is a little TIE fighter that you can't really tell yet. I might be halfway through the color work on the back. I'm going to try to work on it a lot. I'd love it to be done by the end of the year. But we'll see. I'm probably going to need more black yarn because I only have one more skein. And I have the sleeves to do and the front to do. Yeah, I'm going to need more black yarn. But the color work and me were not getting along. There was one episode of Vlogmas where I was working on it and I had to rip it all back because it was just, I could not get it right. And like some places are still kind of off, and it's probably me and not the pattern. I don't know what I did. I'm like a stitch or two off. But anyways, I'm making it work. But it's going. It's just not going as well. I should have totally had this done before December because I knew December was going to be wild and crazy and I wasn't going to really have the time or the brain space to focus on it. So that's really my fault. I should have started it earlier. But in my defense, I did think it was top down and thought that this part would be done and I'd just be doing the stockinette. But anyways, I digress. It's going. I'm working on it. Hopefully next time in the first podcast of 2024, I will have it finished. But dog's gonna bark. But I am working on it. And I did end up having to see, I just don't know. I don't know if my color work looks good enough. I guess. I don't know. It's really strange doing color work back and forth, like purling it as well. I figured out which color needs to be in which side of my hand when I'm doing the color work. I think it's the gray needs to be on the left and the black on the right. I don't know. I have it written down. It's been a while since I worked on it. But I definitely saw a difference in that when I was working on it the first time and then I ripped it back. But this is what my floats look like. I actually think they look pretty good. But yeah, I don't know if I'll be making myself one of these. I don't know. Like, I think color work is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. But it is such a pain for me to do. I just don't think I'm very good at it. And I don't have confidence with it. Which I know if I do it more and more, it'll get better. Hopefully. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be the last color work thing probably for a little while. But that's the first project. Not as far as I would like, but that is life sometimes. So that was the only non-Advent project that I have on the needles. Let me put this away real fast. So the next one I'm going to talk about is my, let me bring it up. I'm like not used to doing this. So my Advent mini socks is the next one I'm going to chat about. I didn't bring them over, but I'll overlay a video of them. I have made, how many have I made? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have made 6. And my goal was to make 12 in the Advent season, but I actually like the number that I have right now. So I'm debating if I'm going to make 2 more and make it 8, or if I'm just going to leave it at the 6 that I have. I have it hanging up on my crochet tree garland that I made like 10, 11 years ago. So I have them hanging up on there, and I really like the pattern that I used, which was the Tiny Tree Socks by Summer Lee. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Summer has amazing patterns, and this one is just like all of our others. Amazing. It has 2 different heels that you can use for these mini socks. It has an afterthought heel, and it also has a heel flap and gusset. The first one I did was a heel flap and gusset, and for me it was just a little sloppy. I think it probably nothing to do with the pattern, but just the way I did it. So since then, the other 5 I did were all afterthought heels, which went a lot faster, a lot smoother, and I really enjoyed doing those. So they take about the main color. I did a contrasting cuff, heel, and toe on all of mine. The main color took about 2 grams, and the contrast with the afterthought took about 1.19 grams. So 4 grams of yarn, and you're going to be able to do this without any problem. And I really, really like how they turned out. I used a US 1 2.25 millimeter, and yeah, they were really fun to make. I'm pretty sure I'm done making them now, so this is probably, there's a tractor going by. Okay, the tractor's gone now and the dogs have finished barking, I think. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to mark these as finished and just have the 6 for this year. And if I want more next year, I can always make more. I know that they don't take very long now, and I can use them or make them anytime, really. But I think for this season, I'm done making them. So those are going to be finished, and they were super fun. I really enjoyed making them. The next Advent project I want to talk about is my Advent socks for 2023. I am making these alongside my friend Stephanie, and we are using the Freckled Whimsy Advent skein for this year. I'm using a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, and I did cast on 64 stitches. I am just using a random skein. This is Sorella yarn, and I think I used this in my first Radvent for the cuff and all the cuff parts of the Radvent is what I use this for. So I grabbed this out of my scrap bin, and it's not a bin, they're plastic bags, but I grabbed this out of there, thought it would go well, and I'm using these using this for the cuff and for the toes. So I'm currently on the heel, and I decided to try the Enchanted Heel Sock pattern by the Lopsided Crafter, which is a heel that I test knit earlier in the year, and I'm really enjoying it. I am a couple days behind, I think, and I may have miscalculated how many stripes the heel needed. I might have needed to start it earlier, but that's okay. If it is, there's extra stripes in the skein, I will just do some extra stripes and just fudge it a little bit. But it is what it is. That's just kind of how my December is going. So I'm housing this in my Mountain State Stitches small bag from Jenny. This is her, this one I just had to have since it's a camping and has the campers on it, and we're in an RV, so it fits my life. But let me show you where I am. I am literally about to start the decreases of the heel, so I'm kind of in a weird spot, but this is what I have right now. Well, maybe I should show you the correct straight up way. So I did 20 rounds of 2x2 ribbing, and then started in on the colors, which I really love. They're like a light color than the darker of the color, which is really fun. And this is where I am on the heel. So I have all this ribbing that I have done, and now I'm going to start doing the decreases like I said. This is a little stitch marker that my friend Stephanie made me a couple years ago. And then I'm at the exact same spot on this one, as you can see. And this one has a stitch marker that Stephanie gifted me last year, and this is from Simply Serving. And then she also made me these. I'm just going to brag on Stephanie a little bit. These are Yarn Cozy Lights by the pattern is by Natty, and Stephanie made me these back in the summer and sent them specifically for us to make these socks with, so I'm loving that. So these should be done by the time the next year rolls around. If it's not, then something has dramatically gone wrong in my life. But I am enjoying working on these. I'm excited to work on the hills tonight and maybe possibly get them finished. But we are getting really close, and I have a lot of foot to do. We'll see. It'll work out. It'll be fine. But I'm enjoying the Freckled Whimsy. Normally we do the Cozy Knitter advent skein, but this year we changed it up and did this one. That was totally my choice, and then Stephanie went and bought the other one for us, so we're going to be doing that in January. But that was just word vomit for you guys. But this is the second advent project of the year, or of the month, or of the season, whatever it may be. And now we have one more that I'm really loving. And if you're watching Vlogmas, I have been the most boring knitter this year because I have just been working on this project. And that's because it's the reason I picked this project. I am so happy I did not do the bubble cardigan. Not because I don't like the yarn, because I love my Blush Yarns Advent, but because I would not have had the headspace. I would be so far behind. I'd be frustrated, and yeah, it's not. I'm so glad I made that decision. So what I did choose to work on was the Cozy Comfort Throw by A Homespun House. This pattern is so fun, so easy. I am enjoying it immensely. And I've never been one to knit a blanket. I used to crochet blankets all the time. Granny stripes, granny ripples, granny squares. I loved it. Lucy of Attic 24, I think is what it is. She has the ripple blanket that was my all-time favorite to crochet. I mean, I made so many baby blankets, made so many full-size throws with that. Loved it. But I've never been able to knit a blanket. It just takes so much longer when you're knitting it, and I don't know. But this one has been really fun. I am using the recommended stitch, or the recommended needle size, which is a US 8, and I am holding it double. So I'm holding it with a bare yarn from Knit Picks that I just had in my stash, and using my minis from my Advent scrappy swaps that I have. So I have four. I have 4 Advents that I swapped or was gifted that are scraps or minis from others. Is that right? Yes. So I have Lori and Amber, who are in the Love and Stitches membership, and we swapped with each other scrappy Advents, which was fun. Then I have a 12-day one from my sister Sabra, and then my sweet friend Stephanie sent me a 31-day scrappy Advent, and I am getting to open that as well. She's just the sweetest. And I am opening those and picking from those to put into this blanket. I'm housing this in a very dirty bag because I've been taking this with me everywhere. But this is my Blush Yarns bag that came with my Advent. It is hairy. It's got, I mean, look, that's just from sitting around the house. It's gross, I know. And it's got dirt on the back. It needs to be washed. But I'm housing it in here. And it is like all full of stuff. But before that, let me show you. This is where I'm keeping the Advents that I'm getting, and it is full of different ones. So I'm trying to keep them together by who gifted them to me. So like all of the ones in this bag are from Lori, and I will go through randomly and just pick one that I'm feeling that day to add to the blanket. And then all of these ones are from Amber, and then these 2 ones are from Stephanie. I mean, there's a lot. And then I have all of Sabra's are kind of just all down in there. And then there's just some random ones in there as well. So I have been thoroughly enjoying this. And I've also been keeping detailed information on how much each stripe uses, because I'm going to be entering this into the pigskin party. So I'm definitely keeping it. Each row takes about 1 gram and 1.2 grams for 1 row of a single strand. But I'm just yabbering on. Let me show you what I've got so far. I showed this last time, but it was very small. But I have grown it quite a bit. So I am on, I think, like row stripe 22. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look so good? I really love how this looks. I am enjoying it so much. I mean, you probably can't tell. But I'm using my Lantern Moon needles for this, my interchangeables. My sister Sabra gifted me these cute little gnomes, which I am so enjoying. I'm sad when Christmas is over and I'll put them away for next year. But let me know if you can tell. I had to change. I am on my third skein of Bare yarn, and I have two that was one base and two that was another base, because I thought about trying maybe dyeing some a while back, like years ago. So I've had them for a really long time. But can you tell where I changed the base at? I cannot tell. So I'm thinking that's a pretty good sign, because this is the one that I'm using right now, and it's quite a bit thinner than the original one. The original one was plumper. It had cashmere in it. I'm not even sure what base this one is. I'll have to look. I think I have the other skein up there somewhere. This one was already caked up, so it was super easy to just grab and use. But I'm going to have to get more Bare yarn, because that's two full skeins of Bare yarn right there. And I want it to be, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I want it to be at more than double the size it is right now. So my goal is to finish this by Super Bowl Sunday, because I want to have it finished for the pigskin party, which I'm going to chat about in questions, because someone asked what that was about. But that is my goal, is to have this done by then. I'm loving it so much. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. So this stitch marker, I can't see the camera. Let me see where I can find it. Oh yeah, there we go. My little Frosty. Hold on. I gotta do this a better way. Little Frosty right there is by Simply Serving, and he is where I was last time we podcasted. So I have done a lot. This is basically the only thing I've been knitting on. I take it everywhere with me in case I get some stitches in, and just really enjoying it. So that is the main project that I have. I just started this like 2 days ago, this fall. I did 2 stripes yesterday. So yeah, it's going pretty well. I'm enjoying it. I also am keeping all of my little scraps in this, so you can see all the different little ones. And then I also am keeping track of whose I am using for what day, how the beginning grams and the ending grams. And then I'm going to put all of this up on Ravelry. I already have through day 19 on Ravelry, so you can check that out if you're interested in making this pattern and kind of want to know what you're going to need. I also cast on the recommended stitches in the pattern. So I'm doing everything the pattern says. But those are all of the projects that I have right now. So yeah, it's a lot, but not a lot at the same time. But I've been talking for like 20 minutes, so maybe it's a lot. I have a ton of questions to answer, so I'm going to go through them pretty quickly, or I'm going to try to, and just answer these for you. I answer questions on the second podcast of every month, so if you ever have something you want answered on the podcast, just put it in the comments letting me know you'd like it asked and answered on that, and I will be happy to do that for you. I have my computer here, so I'll be looking down while asking the questions. But the first question is from Tiffin Stitches 179, and she says, if you had a choice of where you would move next, where would you love to go? And spoiler alert, we're going to be moving next month. We don't know where yet, so this is probably stems from that, but I'll talk about that more in the next segment. Places that we would love to go if we could just choose to go. We really want to go to Alaska. Right now in the middle of winter is probably not the best time to go to Alaska, but maybe this summer, we'll see. We would also love to go to the New England area. We've never been northeast, so that would be a really fun place to go, like Vermont or Maine or anywhere up in that area. I've done most of the West Coast, but the East Coast is harder because it's more expensive when it comes to RV parks, especially in the summertime, and then in the wintertime, they're mostly closed. So that would be another good place. And then third one is Oregon. We'd love to go to Oregon. We've been on the Washington coast. We'd love to be on the Oregon coast because it's just so pretty there. So those are probably the ones we choose if we had an option of where exactly we wanted to go. Jean Burby 6492 asks, I was wondering how you decided on RV living rather than renting a house, apartment, condo. Did you find a good church in your area? So when we first started traveling, we did rent townhouses, apartments, those type of things. Actually, we rented houses and like duplexes. And we did that from 2014 to 2018, so 4 years. And it was really hard to find 3-month leases. And with our animals, they didn't want us to have as many animals, and they were really picky about things. And if you did a shorter lease, it was more expensive. And we kind of just felt like we were throwing our money away, and then we'd have to rent a huge U-Haul. We'd have to pack up a whole huge like the house. I mean, I got really good at packing a house in 3 days because we lived in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different rentals. So I got really good at doing that really quickly, moving. But we decided we got a tiny house. We built one. We didn't build it ourselves, but we designed it ourselves, and we had our builders who were up in Portland, Oregon, who built it for us, and we absolutely loved them. We loved the house and all of that. But then we kind of outgrew it. It was just a bit too small for all of us. It was 30 feet long and 8 feet wide. And so 2 years ago, this next January, we got the 5th wheel that we were in. It is a 43-foot long, and it has the pop outs, so it is much wider and much more spacious, and we really enjoy it. It's also a lot easier to tow. So we've towed this and the tiny house coast to coast. So it was just a lot easier to do that. We have not found a good church. Honestly, we don't look for one. I know we should look for a church, and we should be doing that. It's just so hard to find a good church regularly. No. I would like to find a good church that has online sermons. I mean, probably everywhere has good online sermons, but if anyone has a good recommendation of somewhere that has Sunday services that you really enjoy, that would be great. Then we could kind of connect with that and stay consistent with one thing. I think that would be really good. But I do my daily devotionals, and just have that one-on-one relationship with God, and that is kind of what is constant in my life. So thank you for that question, Jean. Yes, quiet. You may hear a little tweet over there. We'll talk about that in the next segment too. Let me see if there are any other questions on this one. I don't think so. Okay, we're going to switch over to the Instagram questions. Those were on YouTube. Let's see. So Carolina Girl Stitcher asked, what is the pigskin party you have mentioned? So the pigskin party is run by Boston Jen, and I will link everything down below for you so you can find it really easily. You can still sign up for it, I believe. But it is a make-along that runs from football season. So from the first game of football season to the Super Bowl, you basically count all of your projects that are started within that time frame and finished, with how many yards you use, and you get there's some sponsor products that you can use for it. There's like you get different points for, like, if you do over 1,000 yards in a project, I think you get like a bonus where you get extra points and things like that. It's really, really neat. I have done this 2 years before, but I didn't do it last year. But this year, a lot of my friends were doing it in my knitting group. So I decided I was going to do it, and I've really, really enjoyed it, especially since I've been keeping such good track of my projects this year. It was really fun to be able to have it go towards something fun. And I mean, you get entered into prizes. You're on teams. Yes, sir. What's the matter? Are you okay? Are we good? All good? I'm trying to podcast. Yeah. Oh, goodness, so puffy. So puffy. Yeah, but let's be quiet, okay? Go eat some food. Excuse that interruption. Tweet Tweet is very loud at the moment. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Anyways, you're in like conferences, just like football, or American football, the NFL. And yeah, it's just really fun make along. She runs it every year, and you can sign up throughout, I believe. So you can go through and sign up and get assigned a team. I'm on team number 1, which is like the tweed whackers or tweed trackers or something like that. And you just go in and fill out a Google form every time you finish a project, and you get points, which is pretty fun. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the pigskin party. The next question we have is from my friend Allison, and she asked, can you move to Ohio so we can hang out? I would love to move to Ohio. We haven't been to Ohio yet, and I know quite a few people in Ohio, so I think it would be really fun to move there. I don't think there are currently any jobs right there right now, but maybe in the future. You never know. Knit a Smile asked, how do you manage the uncertainty of where Brian's next placement will be? And then she also asked a second question, which is, what is your favorite time of the day? So my favorite time of the day is probably midnight. I am a night owl. So I love the time when I get to sit and relax, watch TV and knit and just chill. I'm an old lady and I like to do that. That's my favorite time, probably. I'm not a morning person at all. And I don't really feel relaxed until I get all of my chores and everything done. So, like, after dinner's done and after everything is put away, the dishes are done, and I can relax, that's my favorite time. Whatever time that is, it's that one. And how do I deal with the uncertainty? It has taken a long time to get comfortable with it more, but really it boils down to, I just have faith that God has a plan and that God is going to lead us and show us where we need to go. He hasn't failed us yet. We've always had an assignment. We've always found somewhere to stay or to live, and my faith really is what gets me through, because I am the type that I like to have a plan. I like to know what's happening. And through this process over the last 9 years, I've really had to just grow my faith and learn to trust and lean into God's understanding a lot more. So that's really how I do it. We also have a really good plan of, we've got it down pat with how we look for a job, how we then find a place to stay, and like, we've been doing this. This is like, I don't know, our 17th assignment coming up or something like that. So we've done it a lot. I kind of know, I have the websites I look at. I have, the spreadsheet, all the different types of things. So we've done it a lot. We've worked things out, and God is faithful. So that's really, I wouldn't be able to do it without him. But thank you for that question. And it can be hard even though you have faith. So it's not all sunshine and roses and things like that. So yeah. Okay, next question. Let's see. Elizabeth asked, what was your favorite and least favorite places you've lived? So our favorite place right now, it used to be Utah, where we are right now. But Washington State spoiled us. We loved Washington State. It has the mountains that I love. It has the water and the beaches that Brian loves. It was just so pretty there. Like, so pretty. There's so much to do and explore. We were there for about 6 months, and we didn't get to do everything that we wanted to do while we were there. And we did quite a bit, like more than we normally do. So that, I would say, is our favorite place ever. And also it has some really great friends there, which was really nice. And I really miss my girls, my knitting group. So that's another big plus. Our least favorite place, I would say the least favorite place to live was California. We lived about an hour north of Los Angeles, and we thought we wanted to move to California. Like, that was where we were going to end up. That was our goal. It's not for us. It's too busy. Far too busy, far too democratic. I don't know. just like just wasn't our jam. I mean, I know it is for some people and there's nothing against that. That's just not kind of what I think we want for our lifestyle. And it was just really expensive as well. So it was really tough, tough to make it by there. So yeah, those are probably a favorite and least favorite that I can think of right now. Yarn Oops asks, favorite holiday tradition for y'all, or what would you like to start to include any holidays that apply? So favorite holiday tradition. So this isn't Christmas, but at Halloween, we started watching Over the Garden Wall with my daughter Felicity, and something we do every like October. And I really enjoyed doing that and knowing that's coming and doing that. Another thing is, just being able to, chill on Christmas Day, just us and, eat at home and just have a nice time together. I think that's been really just having that family time. I don't feel like we're very traditional people, like we don't have a whole bunch of traditions. So it's kind of hard to answer that. We're just kind of go with the flowish. I can't believe I'm saying that about myself, but we're just kind of, it's different every year for us because we're somewhere different. Sometimes Brian works Christmas, sometimes he's off. Like this Christmas, he's off on Christmas Eve and Christmas, which is really exciting because he very rarely ever has both days off being a nurse. So that's really, really exciting. And we're looking forward to going out for my birthday on Christmas Eve and then just being at home. And I think we're going to watch football and just eat some yummy food. And just let the kids play with their new stuff and just enjoy the day together as a family. So that's not the best answer, but that's all I got. Jancy Goodchild asks, do you have a posting place you would prefer this January move? Which is kind of like the same question asked on YouTube. So I don't really know. There aren't a lot of jobs right now. So we're kind of just getting what we get this time. But again, like we would love an Alaska or Oregon or Northeast job at some point in the future. Then Susie 2014 asks, are all your dogs and cats rescues or have you had them some since they were babies? So all of our animals that we currently have been, we've had since babies, except for Purl, our cat. She was not a baby when we got her. She was probably 2-ish, but she is Monty's mom, who was a kitten when we got him. We got him first, and he was at like PetSmart or Petco when we got him. He had a cold, so I was calling to check on him, and they were like, yeah, his mom has that too, so... And I was like, do you have his mom? And they were like, yes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want his mom. I don't want to separate them, like the poor thing. So then we also got Purl. So she was 2, I think, when we got her. She was very young. And then all of our dogs we have gotten from breeders. So we have the 5, and then we all had them since they were puppies. Pretty like 8-10-week-old puppies. Oh, I think Isa's might have been like 16 weeks, so she was the last of her litter. But then all of the cats we have been rescued, and they were all rescued as kittens except for Purl. So, yeah, we've had them all a long, long time. Our youngest dog is Atticus, and he'll be 4 in March. And then the youngest cat is Monty, and he will be 5 this upcoming year. So it's been a long time since we've gotten a baby, other than birds. Okay, I have a couple of more questions. My friend Kylie asked, I'm late to the party on this. Is there a timeline to leave Utah or move to a house someday? So we are moving from Utah next month, around the end of the month, January, like around when the second podcast of the year should come out. So we will be moving. We have no idea where yet. We've applied to a couple of places, or one place, I don't know. life's been stressful and I haven't had time to concentrate on that. So, but it is coming soon. Very soon we will be moving. And to move to a house. Maybe one day. We would love to have a house someday, but as of right now, we're really enjoying doing the travel thing. I do not ever want a huge house. I really like living small. I like not having a bunch of things, and I like just having a small area. I don't want a huge house. I don't want to, oh, that just freaks me out. Like, we had a rental in Vegas that was 1,800 square feet and it was ginormous to me. And that was before we lived tiny. About a year before we lived tiny. And I mean, the tiny house was tiny and then we upgraded to this. So maybe if I did baby steps, I would get up to a big house. But I really like just like a small cottage or just a small little place someday. And we don't have any idea where we would like to go. The end big dream for us would be to move to England. I would love to be in the UK. I would love to have a little like barn conversion or a little cottage or something, and live there. So maybe one day we'll see. That's the like ultimate dream. Let's see. Okay, my friend Natalie of Blush Yarns asked quite a few questions. Quite a few. So let's just go through those from Natalie. She asked, any clues to where you guys would be moving next? I think I've answered that. And then the next one, are you inspired for all the... Squawk, squawk, squawk. Hello. I'm chit-chatting. Yeah. Let me try that again. She asks, are you inspired for all the January knitting or winter knitting? I'm inspired to get through the knitting I have right now. That's what I'm thinking about. I still have the yarn that I got from Moonglow to make the Fairweather sweater, so I'm still looking forward to doing that. And I need to make gloves for Brian and Grayson, and probably Felicity, and Kai got some the other day in Park City, so he's not getting any. But yeah, I don't know. I think right now all I can focus on is Advent and the end of the year, and then once January hits, I'll kind of concentrate on the rest. We'll see. And then another one is, how stressful is it to film every day? It can be stressful for Vlogmas. Yeah, it can be stressful, especially this Vlogmas I think has been more stressful just because if you've watched Vlogmas, you've seen that we've had a lot of things go wrong, even more things than what has been shown on Vlogmas. So some days I'm just like, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, I haven't filmed anything yet. I'm like, I need to film something. And I don't get me wrong, I really enjoy it and it's a lot of fun, but sometimes you're like trying to find something new to show. Like, I feel like I'm showing knitting the same thing just over and over, and I'm like, how is anyone finding this interesting at all? So I'm just trying to find something new to kind of show you guys so it's not boring. So in that sense, yes, it can be stressful. I am losing some sleep over it because I'm having to stay up a little later to do the editing, but overall I really enjoy it. And it's really fun to be able to interact with you guys so much and kind of get your feedback. And I love watching people's lives and just kind of seeing what they're doing from day to day, and just being nosy, really. So I think I try to show that in mine so that you can kind of get an idea of how our life is, because I know that it's so different and very kind of off the wall and not average. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it and it's not boring. But that is all the questions I had. That was about 20 minutes of chit chat. So thank you for sticking around for that. And we're going to jump right into some more chit chat and talk life. Good heavens, has life been crazy the last 2 weeks. So if you have watched Vlogmas, you'll know all of this, and this might not be interesting to you. But if you haven't watched Vlogmas, strap in because it's going to be a fun ride. So my mom came to visit. She came on the 9th and she actually left last night. That's why the podcast is a day late. So we had her here. And she had had surgery a week prior to flying out here, and it was a lot more extensive than she thought. So she was kind of having to recoup here and not do too terribly much, even though we did do a bit. So the 2 days before my mom came, we ended up getting another bird. And I will show you. He is a sun conure. So Skittles was a green cheek conure, and Tweet Tweet, as we call him, is a sun conure, and he is much bigger, much louder, as you would have heard earlier, less chit-chatty though, and much more scared than Skittles was. He is about 5 to 6 months old, and he was from a not he's from a local pet store, so it's this pet store called Pets and Such. So he's been in a cage next to a lot of other birds for probably 4 months of his life, or 3 or 4 months. So I think he might be a little lonely just because there aren't any other birds around. But he, in the last 2 days, has really started to warm up. He's starting to get on our hands now. He is, this morning for the first time, he was out of his cage. Brian had him up on his shoulder. But he's scared of everything. Like, Skittles would run all over and, like, be up and down all over everything around here. And he is scared of everything. So we're just slowly kind of introducing ourselves to him, and with Mom here it was kind of crazy because life wasn't normal, but we're enjoying him, and he's a character. He's got huge feet. It's so weird because he's completely different than Skittles, so we don't know for sure that he's a boy, but from the way he acts, his size, his feet size, he's a boy. He's got to be a boy. So we're calling him a boy. He didn't have a name for a very long time. We went through many, many names, but we have said his name is Chewy, like Chewbacca, but we call him Tweet Tweet. I literally just call him Tweet Tweet all the time. I just coming up to the cage and going, "Hi, Tweet Tweet," and we call him Tweet Tweet. So I'm pretty sure his name's Tweet Tweet. But we are really enjoying him and kind of getting to know him. And then when my mom was here, we had the furnace wasn't working correctly. We're still having trouble with the coolant on the truck. There's a leak somewhere or something. I don't know. Shh. And me and Mom, she wanted to go to a quilt shop, which was up in Logan, Utah, which is an hour and a half from where we are. So we drove up there, just the two of us, and we went to the quilt shop and everything. We had gotten lunch, and we were heading back. We were still in Logan. We were probably 5 minutes from the quilt shop, and my tire blew. Yeah, the tire blew. This time it was the driver's front side. Luckily, we weren't going too fast when it happened, and we were able to pull right off. But you know where my spare is? My spare was on the front passenger from the tire that flew away. So we got to get towed again. We got towed twice in 2 weeks, just about. And we had to, luckily it was like 3 o'clock when it happened. So we got to a tire place and they were able to replace it pretty quickly and get us on our way. And I mean, we were an hour and a half away. Brian, we only have one vehicle, so there was no way for him to like come get us. Heavens, it was just like, what is happening? So I was just like done with life at that moment. I was like, why is this happening? So God was protecting us though, and I'm very grateful for that because, you know, it could have been a lot worse. A lot of the roads are like 70, 80 miles an hour, and we were only doing about 35, 45 when this happened and was able to pull off right away. So, I mean, there's blessings in there, but it was very frustrating and very annoying. And I got to ride in the truck on the back of the tow truck because there's only one seat in the actual tow truck for someone to sit in. That was a very bouncy, crazy ride. But yeah, then the same day or the day after or day before, I don't remember, we found out that they are not extending here in Utah. We were really hoping to be able to extend until April and just, you know, have some time to relax and just be here. But apparently that's not happening. So we will be moving in January. We don't know where at all. I think I've said that 100 times already, but prayers for that would be amazing, just for like a stress-free job search and campground. We have such a hard time finding campgrounds sometimes because they have such weird rules that are stupid, but it is what we do. So we would really appreciate prayers for that. I think that's basically all the crazy that happened, all wrapped up into 5 minutes or so. But yeah, if you want to see all of that craziness happens, you can come check out Vlogmas. I vlog through it all, and yeah, it's just crazy life. I had my friend Kristen of Crafty Kristen J, a podcast, or she has her channel, it's not a podcast, she's the We Share Needles podcast. She messaged and she was like, you make it look so good all the time. I'm like, girl, you just come look. Just come look. It's not always easy. We love it, and it's very unique. We understand, and we're very lucky to be able to live like this. In this nomadic kind of life, but it does bring its own stresses and craziness for sure. Coming up, I am going to have on, obviously I'm going to have Vlogmas for the next till December 26th, and then come back on January 1st for the year in review. I'm going to go through all of my stats from the year, do a big stash update, do all the things. And also let me know, do you want me to keep doing the stash update through the year of 2024? I really love doing it, and I will keep doing it for myself, but I don't necessarily have to share it with you guys. So just let me know if you like that or not, and if you're not interested, then we'll just skip it. But I love sharing it, so if you like it, we'll keep doing it. What we were watching. So while Mom was here, I started her on the Gilded Age. I was like, I really think she'll like it. And I hadn't seen season 2 yet. So we watched all of season 1 and then started and finished season 2, which was excellent. I really, really recommend the Gilded Age. It's on Max. It does have some mature content, but my phone ran out of storage. Sorry, it's been a constant problem this Vlogmas. But I was saying the Gilded Age, if you really like Downton Abbey or any type of shows like that, you're gonna love the Gilded Age. It was really good. I really enjoyed rewatching season 1 and then watching season 2. Then we also watched the ending of The Amazing Race. It's been over a week, so I'm gonna say who won and who didn't win. So if you don't want to know, just skip forward a little bit. But I really wanted the deaf dad and the son to win. I was so rooting for them, but they came in third. I just loved them so much. They have such a sweet relationship, and we're just so they didn't bicker, and they got along, and they respected each other, and that was really sweet. And also the ending being in Seattle was awesome, because I knew they were doing overhead shots, and I'm like, oh, I know where that is, and I know where this is, and that was really fun to be able to see. I've never watched one of those where I knew the place, so that was really neat. And then also Survivor, the finale comes on tonight, so we're going to be watching that. I'm not 100% sure who I want to win, but yeah, it's been good. I love Survivor. I've watched not every season, but I've watched for a very long time. So I watched the beginning and then didn't watch a few seasons and then got back into it. And then also Brian and I last night caught up on Oak Island, or The Curse of Oak Island. Oh, it's so good. Why is that show so good? I love it. They're getting close. They're finding things, and Lot 5 is crazy. So really, really enjoying that. But that's, I think, about all I have to say. I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, and if I don't see you in Vlogmas, then I will see you next year in 2024. Have a safe and happy holiday season, and I'll see you next year. Two behind, and I'm sorry if you can hear my kids in the background. They are being loud. What, Grayson? Okay. Fine, try to be quiet, okay? Love you. The bird just pooped. Just so you know. Yeah, I told them you pooped. But